A few days ago, in the principal's office, the principal was talking to someone on the phone. "Oh, really?" asked the principal. "I heard that he's a student who didn't even make it to the top 10, it's shocking that he could get the first rank in the entire school." "But didn't you say that this exam was going to be harder?" said the man on the phone. Oh Daewon replied with a hint of nervousness, "But before that, he was already quite smart, I didn't expect him to do that well." The man said, "I heard you gave special treatment to that student and all the teachers were on his side." Oh Daewon responded, "You're saying something very dangerous, we wouldn't do that in the middle of an exam. That would tarnish the reputation of Cheonil School." The man said, "I want to know about the education the student received." Oh Daewon replied, "Education? I understand what you're getting at, but Hung Sung just attends school here, and of course, Cheonil School already has a good education system. In fact, many people are willing to spend their money to attend this school." The man said, "It's a pity. In that case, please tell everyone to focus in class." After that, they hung up the phone. Mr. Kim, who was sitting next to him, immediately asked, "Was that another call about the education?" Principal Oh Daewon replied, "Don't even get me started. What do they think I am?" Mr. Kim said with a serious face, "The questions this time were made to be very difficult." Principal Oh Daewon said, "That's true, but this isn't about the students' rankings that's confusing. In other words, there shouldn't be any discrimination." Mr. Kim said, "The questions were so hard that it's unlikely anyone could answer them all correctly." Principal Oh Daewon said, "We can't expect that, but at least we can only encourage them about this, right?" Principal Oh Daewon gazed at Teacher Kim seriously. "I can see it, Kim Young-sung getting the highest average score in the country and entering Hankook University with top marks. You think the same, don't you, Young Chul?" Teacher Kim replied with a smile, "I can see it too." Principal Oh Daewon said, "The chance to become the best school is right in front of us, with the backing of Myunjin Construction and Hung Sung's scores, it's not a difficult thing, and it's all within our grasp. The only problem is Hung Sung often causes trouble. What if the smartest student keeps causing problems? We could become the worst school. My dear brother, do you remember I asked you to take care of Hung Sung?" Teacher Kim replied, "Yes, I remember." Principal Oh Daewon smiled and said, "I know you've done your best, and Kim Young-sung will become the best student Cheonil School has ever created. You understand what I mean, don't you?" Teacher Kim nodded, understanding what Principal Oh Daewon meant, as if he already knew without being told. Principal Oh Daewon placed a stack of money on the table and said, "Since you've created the smartest student in the school, I'll give you a bonus next month, so enjoy it. I want to make you a partner of Cheonil, until Kim Young-sung graduates, and even after that." Teacher Kim smiled upon seeing the stack of money and said, "Leave it to me." In his mind, Teacher Kim thought that his prediction of switching to Hung Sung's side was the right choice, better to be on Hung Sung's side than Young Minho's. Back to the present, on the rooftop, Teacher Kim was explaining everything he knew about the Golden Circle. After Teacher Kim finished explaining, Hung Sung said, "So if something bad happens to me, you'll be implicated too, right?" Teacher Kim replied nervously, "I've prepared to share the future or whatever happens in the future with you, so what do I need to do? Do I just need to stop Shin Young Min?" Hung Sung smiled and said, "There's only one thing I want. Whether it's then or now, so get ready." After saying that, Hung Sung walked away and added, "Whatever happens, adults ignore things like they didn't happen, and don't forget to prepare yourself mentally." At that moment, Teacher Kim understood the message from Kim Young-sung. The scene shifted to Shin Young Min lying on the ground, beaten up, with someone stepping on his head. The person who was beating him up was Kong Taegu. Kong Taegu said, "This is the last warning, if you fail again, be careful, next time I'll destroy one of your body parts." Shin Young Min, lying on the ground, could only reply with a stuttering voice, "I understand." Kong Taegu walked away and said coldly, "Remember this well, this is your last chance." A few moments later, Shin Young Min stood up with blood coming out of his nose and mouth, feeling angry because he was beaten up by Kong Taegu, and he cursed Kim Young-sung in his heart. The scene shifted to a construction site, where several people were suggesting Shin Young Min to beat up Hung Sung. Someone said, "Young Min, let's just beat him up. It's not like the teachers will be responsible for what happens outside of school." Someone else added, "Isn't it possible that he'll get away if we break one of his limbs?" Hearing the suggestions from his friends made Shin Young Min even more annoyed, and he said, "Of course, we can beat him up, but if we do it outside of school, Myunjin Construction Company will have a direct reason to cause trouble for us. And we won't have a way out when that happens." Hearing Shin Young-min's explanation made his friends realize that beating up Hung Sung outside of school would be like digging their own graves. They started discussing how to beat up Hung Sung without suffering the same fate as Park Min-chul. A burly guy raised his hand and said, "Sunbae Nim, can I say something?" The guy was Bae Seong-ho, a second-year student known as the Gorilla Monster. Shin Young-min nods, and Bae Seong-ho says, "Let's not deal with him one-on-one, but we can provoke him with a lot of people at once. As you know, the principal is obsessed with making the school a top school. The principal might punish one or two of us, but what if 30 people cause trouble? And if that happens, it's like the principal is burying his own dreams." Bae Seong-ho's explanation makes Shin Young-min trapped and impressed with his plan. A few days later, while walking at school, Hung Sung feels something off around him. Some people are cursing at him and trying to provoke him. One person runs into him, pretending to bump into him, but actually punches him in the back of the head. After bumping into him and punching him, the guy says, "Hey, you idiot, if you bump into me, you have to apologize." "Yeah, that's right, apologize quickly, and what's with your stare?" Another person adds. Hung Sung smiles and mutters, "Okay, that's enough." Without warning, Hung Sung punches the guy who had bumped into him and punched him in the head. The punch lands perfectly on the guy's face. Hung Sung quickly beats up the guy's friends. The guy's friends try to touch their faces, but Hung Sung approaches them and kicks them right in the face. Hung Sung stares at them and says, "Hey, tell your leader to stop thinking stupid thoughts and just bring everyone at once." A few moments later, Bae Seong-ho comes to Hung Sung's class with his friends. In his mind, Bae Seong-ho's plan is to provoke Hung Sung with first-year students and then bring his friends to finish him off. Bae Seong-ho walks up to Hung Sung and asks, "Are you Hung Sung?" Hung Sung stands up and says, "If we fight here, you'll get in trouble. How about you follow us to the recycling dumpster, where teachers rarely go?" Bae Seong-ho says. They walk to the spot, and once they arrive, they stand facing each other. This fight is basically the same as the one with Kong Chong-sok. However, in this case, if Hung Sung can't take them down or loses the fight against Shin Young-min, he'll be in trouble and will have to pay a heavy price. "You brought us here for this, you idiot," Bae Seong-ho says. Hung Sung ignores them and thinks about how to take them down. After a moment, Hung Sung provokes them. Hearing Hung Sung's provocation, Bae Seong-ho says, "Shut up, you know you've crossed the line, messing with Shin Young-min and disrespecting the hierarchy." But before Bae Seong-ho can finish, Hung Sung cuts him off and insults him. "Stop beating around the bush and get to the point." Hung Sung points to the window where many students are watching them from their classrooms and says, "You have eyes, don't you? Lots of students are watching us. Aren't you ashamed to bring so many people to fight me? You'll just be the laughing stock of the school. If you're brave, come at me one by one. Are you too scared to fight me one-on-one?" Hearing Hung Sung's taunts and provocations makes one of Bae Seong-ho's friends angry, and he steps forward. The guy is Kim Chong-yun, also known as the Senior Demon. Kim Chong-yun charges at Hung Sung and says, "As long as I'm here, everything will be fine." Kim Chong-yun tries to punch Hung Sung, but Hung Sung dodges the punch. Seeing that Hung Sung dodged his punch, Kim Chong-yun gets even angrier and says, "You think you're tough? Take this, you arrogant bastard." Kim Chong-yun launches another punch, but Hung Sung dodges it again. And with lightning speed, Hung Sung punches Kim Chong-yun's face, knocking him out cold.